picked up on in the later years of my career. And it's faith in you, faith in me, and faith in what will be. It's a prayer that I say multiple times a day, and it gets me through some real tough times, and it helps me enjoy the good times even better. And then one that relates to my sport, but I also relate it to life, to love, to every aspect of it. It started out, if you're running with your ego, you're running with a fool. And then I started applying it to my life. If you're living with your ego, you're living with a fool. I apply it to my life in business. If you're selling with your ego, you're selling with a fool. So if you take anything, please take those couple thoughts. All right? Wow. Under 7 minutes? Damn it. Thank you all very much.
And Flaagen is the presenter for Huron's Amy Burnett.
Amy Burnett. The 1991 Huron High and 1996 University of Wyoming grad was the Player of the Year in NCAA Division I Western Athletic Conference in 1994 and again in 1995. At Wyoming, the 5'11 forward was honorable mention all-conference as a freshman, first team all-WAC the next 3 years. As a junior, Amy led the WAC in scoring, rebounding, and free throw shooting, and also shot 59% from the field. As a senior, she led the WAC in scoring at 22.7 a game, rebounding at 9.5, free throw shooting at 85.7, and field goal shooting at 59%. For her career, she scored 1,782 points, had 829 rebounds, and shot 58% from the field, 42% on three-pointers. At Huron, Amy was a three-time All-Stater and led the Tigers to the 1989 Class AA state title. As a senior, she set the state scoring record and was named State's Miss Basketball. In addition to her basketball exploits, she was All-State in volleyball and was a state champion in the shot put and discus.
So it's kind of funny that I almost tripped right there. We were talking earlier, and my grandma Jo was probably one of my biggest fans, and she would go to every game, every track meet. I went to the state track meet 3 years in a row, never had any injuries. She was in the first aid tent every year. She tripped over, there was the little railings on the track. She was running to say, "Congratulations, Amy," and fell. I walked by the tent and I'm like, that's my grandma in there. We were playing a basketball game in Pierce. She fell out of the bleachers. She broke her arm. She broke her teeth out going to watch me in Wyoming. So, I mean, that is a level of dedication right there. I know you're watching me, Grandma Jo, so that trip was for you. It's great to be here. I am currently living in Texas. I'm a middle school teacher and coach, so I talk loud and I talk fast. Sometimes I sound like I'm from South Dakota. Sometimes I sound like I'm from Texas, so just kind of bear with me. This is actually my 5th induction into a Hall of Fame. I'm always everyone's favorite speaker. I'll just tell you that up front. Am I funny? Yeah, I'm pretty funny, but I'm short, so I get done quick and everyone's like, yes. Great speech, great speech. So I just want to start by thanking my family that's here, my parents, John and Shelley Wilson, everything they did for me financially, taking me to camps, playing horse out with me in the backyard. We give John a hard time that he quit playing, when I was like 8 and I could beat him, so then he gave it up. My Uncle Todd, if you've ever been to Woonsocket, there's the lake there. My great-grandma Nan had a house right across from the tennis court. He taught me how to play basketball. We both played in our jean shorts, which nowadays is cool, and the kids call them jorts, but it's kind of funny to see pictures of us out there in our jean shorts playing. And my great-grandma Nan was another huge fan. She recorded all of our games on the radio, KOKK radio in Huron. So my mom has a bunch of little cassette cassette tapes. If anyone, you want to listen to those, you just let me know. We can put one in. My coach, Tim Budenhagen, is here. When I did the radio interviews, they asked about influential people, your coaches, and of course, Bud, he did a great job with not only the program, but with me. Kind of like Dana was talking about in Armour, we had an open gym. The girls were just like a family. He was like our dad. We would open the gym, we would play. I wanted to get some extra conditioning in, so he would stay there, and I'd be running the stairs in the Huron Arena. And it was just a great atmosphere. I was fortunate enough, we won a state championship. I saw Kerry Ricketts earlier. I think the game against you guys, that might have been the one up there, sorry. But we also, volleyball, my volleyball teammates are here. They couldn't make it to the banquet. They're a little sad because volleyball was the one sport where I didn't win a state championship. We actually were state runners up. I won shot and disc in track, so I've had a pretty good career. Basketball was my passion. I went to the University of Wyoming. I had a great career there. Like I said, I love the sport of basketball. It's been good to me. I appreciate my family and my friends and everything they've done. And my friends back home give me a hard time when I told them I was getting inducted into another Hall of Fame. They're like, how many more are there? Are there any left? I was like, I think this is it. So I'm sure we left the best for last. Thank you for the Hall of Fame committee for choosing me. And it's been a great honor. Have a good night.
Thank you, Amy. Tim Smith is the presenter for our final inductee. My guess is the Blue Moon is empty tonight in Armour. A lot of you have been there, huh? I Googled it. I don't know anything about the Blue Moon. I think I walked out of there one night. Burnett Glanzer, one of the great high school basketball coaches in this state.
Armour Packers, the 1978 South Dakota State Class B champions.
Burnett Glanzer. Burnett graduated from Freeman High School in 1971, the University of South Dakota in 1975, and was one of the most successful boys basketball coaches in state history. Burnett guided Armour and later tripped Delmont Armour for 37 seasons, compiling an astounding record of 617 wins and only 209 losses. He was just the third South Dakota boys basketball coach to reach the 600-win mark. Burnett led the Packers to a state record 64-game win streak from 1978 to 1980, a record that has not been surpassed. That streak included one of the most famous games in state history, Armour's overtime win over Beersford for the 1979 State B title. Glanzer's teams reached 12 B tournaments with 3 state championships, 2 runner-up finishes. Burnett coached the Armour boys and girls track teams for 32 years, with the Packers winning 6 state titles, 3 by the boys, 3 by the girls. Burnett also refereed football and girls basketball for many years.
I've taught or been an administrator in education for 41 years, and one of the tenets that we kind of live by is that the mind can't absorb more than the seat can endure. And since I'm the last one up here, I don't know if I should do what I did sometimes in my math classes and ask the kids to get up and do a couple jumping jacks before we kept going, or if I can just make this short. So I think we'll take the latter, but I'd like to congratulate all the inductees into this hall this year and in past years. What a group of inspiring individuals. Also like to thank the South Dakota Sports Hall of Fame committee, or whatever group it was, that felt that I was worthy of being selected to this group. Thanks for this honor, but I want to share it publicly with a lot of people. First, my family. Back at the table is my wife, Deb, who probably didn't see the end of many of our close games because she either had her eyes tightly squeezed shut or had buried her head in her hands. And she also had to put up with me for about a week after an especially tough loss or a game I thought we should have won. And finally, she just learned enough to not try to talk me down, but just leave me alone and I'll get over it. I also want to thank my son and daughter-in-law are back here, Chris and Kate, and my two grandchildren, Dakota and Delaney, and my brothers, Bruce, and then back here is Barry and his wife, Beth, and Brent and his wife, Jody. Special thanks to all the student athletes and Armor fellow coaches and friends who made it a point to be here for this, for me, and to all those athletes that couldn't make it as well. You're the reason that this is happening. I was talking to, it's weird, I was talking to Jerry about this before, Jerry James, when we were setting up our stuff there, and he brought it up, and I said, it's kind of weird because this is in my little talk. Moments like this are really hard to put into words, and it's even harder to believe that it's actually happening. I think back to the start of all of this, my roots at Freeman High School and being privileged to play for my coaches there and learn under the teachers I had there. And then later being part of a coaching end of it at Freeman. That 2 years culminated in a state championship for the Freeman Flyers under Coach Burnett. That led to an eventual teaching coaching job at Armor, and the rest fell into place. Point is, during all that time, honors and Hall of Fames and things like that never enter your mind. I'm sure it didn't enter any of these people's minds either. We just did what we had to do to the best of our ability and tried to convey to our kids and to a community that excellence is the goal. I want to make sure that comes through because I consider this honor to be a recognition of a great bunch of student athletes, great parents, and a supportive community. Unfortunately, I wouldn't fit Dwayne's profile of what he thought a good basketball coach would be because most of you know that I was extremely vocal and not especially easy to play for, expecting and demanding a lot of our kids. If you doubt that, you can ask some of them that are sitting out here, and they'll confirm it. But I'm sure that they didn't always enjoy the occasional tongue lashing, correction, and the demands. But they had the grace and the intelligence to see it for what it was, an attempt to bring out the very best that they had and not accept anything less than that. And their parents in our community also deserve credit for that. I know that many parents today wouldn't accept their son or daughter being so publicly and vocally corrected. I've had many of those parents tell me that opposing teams' parents asked them how they could let someone talk to their kids like that. And they all told me, they explained to these parents what we're trying to do. We're trying to push for excellence. We're trying to accept nothing less than the best. And that's what Mr. G is about, and we're going to go with it. And so I really am lucky to have had people that could understand that not all coaches coach the same. You have to coach with what your personality is. You know, John Wooden sat on the bench and didn't say a word. But that wasn't me, and that wouldn't have worked for me. And so I really give our community, our parents, and our athletes some credit for being able to accept that. This honor belongs to the athletes of mine that are sitting out here, and dozens of others just like them that couldn't be here, and to the parents and community of Armor. I'm really humbled by their support and the relationships that we've formed. In fact, the most important thing about this whole journey is the relationships you form with people. Of the people I know in this room, almost every one of them would be because of my career in education and in coaching and in school administration. And I've made some great friends that way and met some fantastic people that way. And for that, I am extremely grateful. I also really enjoyed refereeing girls basketball and football for many years because I had a chance to interact and watch some of these kids play that weren't my kids, but that I had gotten to know in basketball camps or on the circuits of playing sports or basketball or track and field. I was involved in the Hanson Anderson basketball camps with Coach Carney and a lot of other great coaches for probably 35 of those 37 years. And that's how I got to know Amy Burnett. And that's how I got to know a lot of kids that otherwise I would probably never known except, I read their name in the paper. And actually got to know them and their personality a little bit, which is very rewarding. Back on my memorabilia table is a notebook of letters, notes, cards, and emails that come from my athletes. And those are what I cherish the most. I'm most proud of those notes when some former student